Dallas, Texas, it is Tepp and Stepp, your premium high school football podcast. I am the Tepp, Greg Tepper.
And I'm the Stepp, Matt Stepp.
Look at us on the road, out of the studio.
They let us out of our cage.
They did, which is very kind of our
Yes.
of our bosses, including our boss at the controls tonight, V&A Moreno. Hello, V&A Moreno.
Hey, guys.
Look at you have your own
it's
camera.
Us.
Man.
I do. I do have my own
HD
camera.
V&A.
Yes.
HD
4K
V&A.
V&A.
This is a very special episode of Tepp and Stepp, as we are live on the road here at the Dick's House of Sport off of the Tollway in Dallas, getting ready for state semifinal weekend. We have got a big lineup of guests, so big, in fact, Matthew, that we should not waste any time.
No, we couldn't wait. We couldn't dilly-dally around. We had to get right to it.
Joining us at the desk right now, we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the undefeated 5A Division I state semifinalists, the Lone Star Rangers, Coach Jeff Rayburn. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Thanks
Glad to be in the semifinals.
Thanks for taking some time to on what I'm sure is a busy, hectic, stressful, but also, I presume, fun week.
Yeah, it's exciting to still be playing, have the chance to play against a great team in Aledo. We'll take all the stress, we'll take all the extra stuff just for a chance to keep on playing.
Coach, you went to the state championship game in 2015. You've made a couple of different – and you were, I would say, a little bit younger back then, a little more inexperienced as a head coach. How has this run been different from the 2015 run? I mean, is it more – do you get a chance to kind of take it all in and soak it in, or are you just 1 week at a time blowing and going trying to win that football game, and you'll do all that later?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different from 2015. This is our third time in the semifinals. In 2015, we were all so young, and our program was so young. We didn't really know what was going on. We just kept winning and moving on, and it was just kind of surprising to us that we had made that run. In 2019, we had a great run, losing the semifinals to Denton Ryan, and obviously this year. I think you can appreciate it a little bit more as you get older, because you realize how difficult it is to have the opportunity to play in the semifinals. I was telling our coaches the other day, and there's so many coaches and players and teams that don't get a chance to win a playoff game or play on Thanksgiving or play December football, much less be in the semifinals. So we want to take it for what it's worth and really enjoy it.
I want to ask you about, you guys are undefeated, 14-0, and I'm sure all 14 are very special to you, and you love them all dearly and equally. And also, I want to go back to the regular season finale when you guys played Reedy. And Reedy, well, they played you closer than anybody, 28-26. It was a nip and tuck affair. I know Reedy always plays you guys tough. How important was a game like that heading into the playoffs where you did get pushed, where you did get challenged? Because, quite frankly, we've had a number of games where not necessarily competitive in the second half. How important was it to have a game where you had to work for all four quarters?
Yeah, I think you need to go through those things throughout a season to prepare yourself for the big moments in the big games. Whenever you're down and you're battling and you're struggling, finding a way to win even when you're not playing your best. I think that's really important. And just the highs and the lows of the game to experience that, I think it's really important for the kids and for the coaches to have to maneuver through some of those things.
When you look at last week's game against Highland, you're playing a program like Highland Park. And we were talking off camera, you don't see Highland Park lose any games by 20 points, much less a playoff game by 20 points. Obviously, I know you going into that football game, you did not expect to beat Highland Park by 20. You'd have been happy with a 1-point win.
Sure.
Obviously, we know about Trey Wright, and we'll talk about him in a little while. But was there anything that maybe you can tell by the stats that when you went back and watched the game film, you were really impressed with what you guys did?
Yeah, just the ability to score on every single drive. We scored every single drive except for one where we missed a field goal. And to do that against an elite Highland Park team, it surprised us. We thought we could score. We thought we had some things that were going to go really well for us. But for us to score and continue to drive the ball down the field time and time again was just really impressive with our kids.
The other thing is, let's not forget, this is a Highland Park program that knocked you guys out of the playoffs last year.
Sure.
That can be obviously motivating, but also we've also seen where kids get too fired up and then suddenly they're out there trying too hard, going too fast, making mistakes. How do you balance that of using that as fuel while also making sure you guys are playing between the lines and playing your game?
Yeah, as you mentioned before, when playing Reedy in a back-and-forth game, we played Wakeland in a really good game, one of the best Wakeland teams we've seen, had a great year. Playing those games and learning how to play with emotion but not be emotional. And we talked about those things throughout the season. And our kids had circled that Highland Park game on the calendar 365 days ago, and they wanted it so bad. But I thought they did a great job throughout the week of preparation. I thought they did a great job from pregame to in the game to playing with great emotion but not being emotional and trying to do too much. And so I think we've learned how to do that a little bit more throughout the season, which has really helped us in this playoff run.
A guy who I wouldn't say did not do too much last week, he did plenty for you, was your sophomore quarterback, Trey Wright, and the performance that he put up against Highland Park. And I know we talked in the offseason when we kind of heard some stories about, hey, Lone Star's got this young quarterback. He was tore it up on the JV last year. He's got a chance to be really good. Obviously, last week was his most special performance. How do you coaching a kid like that, and you've coached a lot of great players in your time at Lone Star, how do you balance that, letting him be who he is and taking full advantage of his talent, but also being within the scheme and staying within himself and telling him, hey, you've got Davian Gross, you got Carice Hoyt, you've got guys around you that can make plays. Sometimes it's better just to let those guys go be them.
Right. He's gotten so much better throughout the season. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Gilchrist, coaches Trey at the quarterback position, and has done such a great job of making him a better quarterback. He's always been the best athlete who can throw it, who can run it, but learn how to play the position from the pocket, to playing on time, playing on schedule. And then when that doesn't work out, when it's not there, go be special. We don't want to take the playmaker out of him. So we want him to play within the system, but then go do special things that only he can do. That's not coached. It's just God-given ability. But he does know he's a smart kid, and he knows the weapons he has around him, and he knows his biggest attribute is being the point guard and distributing the ball to all those guys.
He doesn't play like I'm sorry, Tepper.
No, go for it.
Just watching him, I mean, obviously he's played 14 games now, but I mean, when I saw you guys against Wakeland, he didn't strike me as a sophomore. He had an air about him that I belong here. This is my football team, and that's what you want from your quarterback, right?
Yeah, he's a confident kid, and he should be. He's played such high-level sports his entire life. Played on the highest level teams. I mean, he's a varsity basketball kid as a freshman last year. So nothing phases him. I mean, in the flow of the game, he just goes out and does work. And good, bad, or indifferent, he's going to come back. He's going to regroup and go do it again.
You can take him one-on-one, though, right? You got on the court, you can get him one-on-one, right?
Probably not. Probably not. This old body's not going to hold up against somebody like that.
It's Jeff Rayburn here at the Tep and Stepp special here at Dick's House of Sport off the tollway near the Galleria. Come see us. We're here up until 7.
This is a really nice Dick's
Yeah,
Sporting Goods. There's
it
a
is.
lot of cool stuff here.
All right, I want to ask you about, because, look, we can talk about Davian Gross, we can talk about Carice Hoyt, we can talk about Trey Wright, all the playmakers you got. Let's give some love to the real stars of the show. Let's give some love to the offensive line. Because, last week, yes, it was Trey Wright's best game. I don't think it is a coincidence that it was also looked like it was your offensive line's best game of the year. They looked fantastic. What is it about this unit that's working right now?
Well, shout out to my two O-line coaches, Austin Reese and Travis Williams. We went into the season with a brand new offensive line. Not one of those kids that started a game for us ever. They were backups last year. They were JV football players last year. But it's been really cool to see our guys kind of come together. And I think at that position especially, you have to have that cohesive unit. You got to have that love and that trust with one another. And they've developed that throughout the year. They've continued to get better. And really they are the catalyst of what we're doing because, as we know in championship football, you got to win up front.
And then defensively, you've got some playmakers in the defense as well. And we always talk about the guys putting up the big stats, but you got to have those guys on defense to get stops. And listen, getting stops against Highland Park is not easy. And you were able to get some stops in key moments to kind of balloon that lead out to 20 points. Excuse me. I'm sure you were hoping it was 30 points. But your defense, tell us some guys who have really stood out to you and kind of what makes that unit go.
Well, I'll tell you, they've done such a good job of stopping the opponent all year long. We've been really dominant and really physical. Marcel Dominguez, our defensive end, number 44, has been the most dominant player on the field, offensively or defensively for us all year long. I mean, he's unbelievable, just the pressure he puts on people, the motor that he plays with. But those guys up front, Chris Knowles, who just signed with Rice, has been unbelievable up front, and Brody Fan and Colson Jaggers up front, really led by Nico Viveros at the Mike Backer. And the secondary, man, we're so long, we're so athletic. We've been able to do some different things in coverage this year because they are so good. Bryant Robinson, Santonio Martin, Chris Hoyt plays both ways, and then Bryce Hayes Roberts at the other safety. But Jordan Deck has been the other big-time difference maker for us, playing safety, playing outside backer, in the run fits, in the pass game, just made so many big plays, and he's such a difference maker with his length and his size and his speed.
Well, the good news is, Coach, I'm looking at my notes, and you beat Highland Park, so things get a lot easier from here. Actually, oh boy, I'm sorry. 7 o'clock Friday at Vernon Newsom Stadium in Mansfield. It is the Frisco Lone Star Rangers and the Aledo Bearcats. Is that how you pronounce it?
Aledo. I'm not sure how you pronounce
the
that
Aledo
name,
Bearcats. Perhaps you've heard of them. I know you've been in the lab all week getting ready for the Bearcats. And I'm not going to ask you to give away all of your trade secrets. But when you take a look at what you're going to be up against on Friday, what do you see?
Well, number one, Aledo Bearcats, 12-time state champions. They're here again for a reason. One of the best programs in the state of Texas, and they're so well coached. They're so physical. They just do everything right. You got to go and beat them. But for us, it's about being us. We're here for a reason too, and so we got to be us and do us a little bit better. Feel really good about our kids and our plan. And on Friday night, whoever plays the best is going to win. But we're excited for the opportunity to go get after them on Friday night.
And then, if you were hypothetically, if you were able to get past Aledo, you have coached in a state championship game before, but that was in Houston. How special would it be to go to Arlington, play in a state championship at AT&T Stadium? I know you don't want to look ahead, but I'm sure it's something every coach dreams about, right?
Yeah, there's nothing better. This is one of the many reasons that we're in this profession. To have a chance to reap those rewards. You want to see the kids, all the work that those kids have put in since 7th grade, 8th grade, all the way through high school, all the sacrifices that they made, how they allow us to coach them, and the accountability that we put on them would be special to see those kids and our coaches, reap the benefits of all the hard work.
And finally, Coach, I know you've got a lot of special players on this team. You've coached a lot of special players in your time there at Lone Star. One of them now, the starting running back for the Las Vegas Raiders, Ashton Genty, a guy perhaps our viewers know about Ashton Genty. How much of his greatness comes directly from your coaching? What percentage? 80, 90% of it? How much of it is him? I mean, obviously he's got some talent, but really getting how much of the Rayburn magic is fueling Ashton Genty's rise?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question because if you ask any of our coaches, they would all take credit for it because he played every position. We were watching. We had sent some film to our kids from us playing Highland Park back in 2019, and you see Ashton Genty, number 17, line up defensive end, getting a sack on Chandler Morris. So the defensive line coach is going to claim him. He's running down there on kickoff. Special teams coach is claiming him. He played receiver as a junior, running back. And so every coach thinks that they created that.
Yeah.
But I really think it's probably God-given ability.
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
Well, okay.
Hey,
that's
an honest man right there.
It's an honest man.
Yeah.
If I had a Heisman finalist as an alumnus, I would probably be taking
coaching that guy up, man.
Yeah, that was me.
I'm ball coaching Jack over here.
We were just smart enough to get him the ball.
Yeah, okay.
Seems like a good plan.
Sometimes the simplest plan is the best one.
That's right.
He's Jeff Rayburn. He's the head coach of the Lone Star Rangers. Make sure you go see them Friday night in Mansfield as they take on the Aledo Bearcats for a spot at AT&T Stadium. Coach, we so appreciate your time. Congrats on all your success, and why don't we just plan on seeing each other next week in Arlington?
Yes, sir. I'd love
Sound
to.
Good? Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Coach. Appreciate
Jeff
it.
Rayburn, head coach of the Lone Star Rangers, join us here at Dick's House of Sport here off the Tollway near the Galleria in Dallas. Come out and see us. We're here till about 7 o'clock. Big-name guests rolling through, and come and we got coupons.
We got coupons. We can get $10 off a $50 purchase. So you need to get some last-second Christmas shopping done. You can get in here and load up the cart.
Load up the cart, absolutely. Got all sorts of great stuff here. Coming up after this brief commercial break, we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Allen Eagles. Coach Lee Wigington is going to be sitting in the hot seat, talk about the Eagles' remarkable season and their big game on Saturday against Duncanville. Live from Dick's House of Sport, it's Stepp and Stepp. Stay with us.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid.
Take notes.
Yo,
I can guard pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
Fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
Back here. Oh, I put my.
Oh,
thing
no.
there. That's like coaches never do that.
No,
like
coaches
they never
never
leave it
do
up
that.
there.
No.
You scared me for a second.
Greg Tepper, Matt Stepp, Vianney Moreno here at Dick's House of Sport out the Tollway near the Galleria in Dallas for a Tepp and Stepp special. And it is a special because we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the undefeated 6A Division I state semifinalist Allen Eagles, Coach Lee Wigington, join us. Coach, it's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you
Good to see
guys.
you, Coach. Good to
Thanks
see
for
you.
having us down.
I can't believe you made time for us.
I would always make time for
Well,
you guys.
we appreciate that, but that does belie the fact that this is a busy week, but I imagine a pretty fun and buzzy week up there in Allen, America.
Very fun week. You know, I think anytime you get to December, it's fun in general. But then, getting to this time of year, the guys are excited. They're excited to come up and practice, to prepare all the stuff that goes into it. But they're just that much more excited about knowing that they had this week together. It's just that's the thing, that the reality of when you get near the end is that you go into a game and when it's over, and this group is just a special group that really enjoys being around each other. And just when they won that game the other night and knew they had another week together, you can feel it all week long how excited they are.
When I look at this Allen football team, and we know about the past teams that have come through Allen, and they've had some great players. We can go down the list of all the guys that have put on an Allen uniform and led them to state championships. This team seems like the definition of a true team, because when I look at you guys, I don't see one star. I see 22, maybe 30, 40 really good football players that are interchangeable, that can make plays. And it seems like that team concept. There a lot of selfless guys are on this football team.
There are, and that's hard nowadays, right? Everything is, this society is about me and about what's in it for me, and scholarship opportunities or stats or numbers or recognition. And this group is not about that. They truly love playing for the A. They love wearing the A on their helmet. They love being a part of the program, that all those that you didn't mention, but all those guys that worked so hard and so talented, and all the stuff that they did to create the reputation that Allen has. These guys are proud to be a part of that and proud to play Allen Eagle football, and they do. They go out there and they're not worried about what they do. They're worried about what Allen does. And that's fun. It doesn't matter if this game they're on the field a lot making plays, and the next game they're off the field. You're going to see them on the sideline cheering just as hard as they are when they made the touchdown or made the big tackle.
This is your fourth year there. It's been a steady build. Last year 13-1, now 14-0 into the state semifinal. I want to flash it back to 2022. What do you know now about this job that you didn't know when you maybe sat in the big chair for the first time? Because this is a unique job, obviously.
Yeah. Probably the biggest is I probably wouldn't have taken a job in June, and it wouldn't matter Allen or anything.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a bold choice.
Yeah,
tough.
and it's just not. It's probably not very wise, especially teams that have spring ball, and then you go and say spring ball's over, let's go start, and then you realize you get there and can I even learn this many names in this amount of time? Oh yeah, you need to go probably get a staff hired, and oh yeah, you've got number one team in the nation coming up in 4 weeks, whatever it was, and it just all happens so fast. And what I like so much about this profession is the relationship piece, right? Just getting to form your team. And when you get to season, what we've always felt and said is that that's when it's done. Now it's just, not to this degree, but really just roll out the ball now. Let's go play ball, because you get to form your team, form those memories and those relationships that are going to last forever start in January of each year, and when you come in and 6 months of that is behind you, it's just catch up, so it's, I look back at that first season and say I missed out on a lot of really, really special opportunities with those kids, and I knew it just we weren't going to have the time to build deep quality relationships. So my whole focus went to I wanted that senior group to feel valued. and I wanted them because you mentioned all this success that Allen had. And that had been the same Allen people forever. It had been different head coaches, but it had been the same people forever. And then all of a sudden they have turnover and they bring in Chad Morris, and you're like, okay, we're going to go get an outsider. Well, that's an easy sell, right? Hey, coming from SEC head coach, all right, I think, all right, maybe he can fit in here. And then he goes, and then after that spring ball, made a different career move, and then they bring in Lee Wigington, and you're like, okay, well, I can go from all the Allen people. I can get Chad Morris, and I don't know that I get this one. So just being real, what the feeling is of all the kids that were there is, what are we doing? What about us? We're Allen Eagle football players, and we've been Allen Eagle football players, and this is where we are now. So that's the natural feeling, and for me and the guys that were there, it was just, how do we let them know that they're loved and that they're going to get coached and they're going to get pushed and they're going to get everything that every other Allen team had gotten and that every other team in the state we're sure gets.
You kind of touched on a little bit. I was going to ask you, coaching in Allen it's one of the most unique jobs in the country, just because of the size of the program and the number of kids that come through, which is a great thing to do. A lot of kids are participating. But coaching in Allen is different than coaching in Bosqueville. Yeah. It's a little harder to So coaching is a relationship business, and you've got so many kids in that program. How have you adjusted how you build those relationships? Because I think that's obviously key, and it's a challenge for you and your coaches because you have that many kids. So how have you handled that, and maybe have you adjusted your approach as you've kind of grown into the job?
Yeah, well, again, very insightful question, and that was 2 weeks into the job, the focus shifted, because you really go in and you're like, okay, hey, we got to get ready. We got to get and all the stuff that I mentioned before, but you're really focused on upcoming football games because you realize that part of the season's behind you, so how do you get ready for a game? And it went from that, and then after about 2 weeks into it, it went to immediately of, you know what, yes, we're going to get ready for a game, and yes, we're going to do that, but what we wanted to make sure didn't get slighted was the relationship piece, because in Allen, there are so many kids, and it would be easy for you just to go up and work really, really hard, but then for some of the kids just to be a number, right? And that would be very fair because there's so many of them. And, what it was immediately was, I don't want that to be the case. I want to make sure that we're doing, as new people coming in, how are we investing in them and how are we truly finding a way to connect with them and make them feel like that we've been here forever and we've known them forever, and doing it. It was just, we do home visits and have done home visits forever. And immediately I went to saying, all right, I'm not going to be able to do home visits with all these kids right now. So we did group home visits, where I went, I had about 7 different group home visits where we'd have a bunch of parents and kids and get to just start connecting. And that was, that second week on the job, started having those just to connect with the families and the kids. And then really it was just from there we developed what we called our pipeline, where we really wanted to be in the middle schools. So we said, all right, we want to get to where these guys know us, then we want to be a constant around the middle schools, get to know those kids in the course of that first summer even, and how do they, again, know that we're not just here for a week or two, we're not here for a year, we're here to invest in you.
So Allen Eagles and Comfort Bobcats are slightly different programs?
Yeah,
just a small.
No, and you say that, laughing. But here's the deal. Again, I probably the only one, certainly the range of from 141 students to this number, right? There's nobody that has probably done that. But from being a head coach at 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Right? You have more coaches, you have more kids, you have more parents, you have more whatevers, right? But they're still, every kid is the same. They started playing football because they want to get something out of it, and the main thing they want is they want to feel valued, they want to feel loved, they want to feel noticed, they want to feel like you appreciate them for more than just a football player. You appreciate them for who they are. You want to help them become a better person, and that was Bosqueville, that was Comfort, and that's Allen, and there's just more of them. So what, as I was there for 6 or 7 months, what really hit home with me was what a great opportunity. Rather than our 40 kids that we had in Bosqueville, now we have 550 high school kids that we get to make that impact in their lives.
Lee Wigington, head coach of the Allen Eagles, joined us here at Dick's House of Sport here off the Tollway in Dallas. Come see us. We'll hear until about 7. Okay, I want to talk about this 2025 team because obviously they're doing something special. And immediately watching this team, the first thing you notice is that, this defense.
Yeah.
Boy, this defense.
Yeah.
Chase Hargis is doing an unbelievable job with this defense. From your perspective as the head coach, what is it about this defensive unit that is so special that has you in the place that you're at right now?
Yeah. One, there's a number of them that have been really since when Coach Hargis came in. There's a significant number who have really been three-year starters now, so very familiar with the system, familiar with the when you're going and you're doing offense defense, there's you learn the defense, since we're talking that, and then how do you install it, how do you practice it, how do you make the adjustments, and those are things that you kind of go from the elementary level, that year one, let's really get it together, and then okay, now we're moving up, and now we're in Algebra 2 class maybe. Well, now we can take it to an AP level, right? And you can really over the course of the week make significant changes, adjustments, and then even over the course of the game. And Coach Hargis and his defensive staff are as good as there are out there. They truly are, and that part, but also just the coaching up the kids. Our athletes are going to go into a game, they're going to go in confident, not because they're going to go in confident thinking that the team we're playing is not good. They're going to go in confident because they believe in their preparation. They believe in what they're going to be able to do on the field.
Flipping it over to the offensive side of the ball, and I mentioned when I see Allen, I don't see a team of stars. I see a really complete team with no weaknesses across the board. If there is one star that I would say, I would think it might be receiver Caleb Smith, the Jet, a rare 4-year starter at Allen. It doesn't happen very often at 6A football period, and definitely not at Allen. What makes him so unique, and how have you seen him grow into the leader that he is now for your football team?
Yeah, he's one of those that when I first went there, I'm meeting with the Ford Middle School staff, and they're saying this is one of the best who's ever come through Allen. So he comes that freshman year, and I'm so excited to be around him, and then next thing you know, he has an injury, and he's out the rest of that year, and then had a great sophomore year, and then we're in a 7-on-7 tournament in late June, hurt his knee and missed his entire junior year. So the first thing that comes to my mind is you take a kid who has had such success over the course of his life and then deals with, missing 2 seasons, right? You miss a game as an athlete, and that's hard. It's really hard on these kids. Their identity is so tied into sports and their preparation, and then you miss a game, and then you talk about missing 2 seasons. That's really hard to come back for. You really start questioning, what's all this work that I'm doing? What's it about? But just to see how he handled that, the way that he worked, but his attitude. When we're in our junior season, and he's 2 weeks into surgery, right? And he's so devastated because that's his big year, right? That junior year, it's his big year, and it's gone. It's completely wiped out. But you watched him every day in practice, in the locker room, on the sideline of games, and you would have thought, this is a guy who, I don't even know if he likes being out there because he has so much fun just being around his teammates, so much fun doing that. But it wasn't that. He just loved that piece of being around his teammates, and now he's out there. It's the exact same person. Whether he's out there doing that now, or he's on the sideline, or he's coaching up his peers, it's that same happy, confident guy of I love this game, but I love being around my teammates that much more.
And that stuff, correct me if I'm wrong, because you've had players like that at all your stops. That's an infectious thing. That attitude is going to infect a sophomore who's going to become the next Caleb Smith.
That's right.
And bring in that attitude. And,
that's right.
And to me, what we've noticed through doing this for long enough, that's when culture gets.
That's right. That's
like
it.
You can set the tone.
That's right.
They got to carry it.
That's right. We can sit there and try to coach selflessness, right?
Yeah.
But again, the world is the world, and it's a whole lot easier to follow selflessness, and that's exactly what Jet and so many of those others are.
All right, I do have to ask you about a tiny event going on Saturday. Tiny, I don't know what you're doing Saturday.
Yep.
But if you're not, we can hang out. Saturday at Mesquite Memorial Stadium, big barn for a big game. The Duncanville Panthers, another matchup of powerhouses here in DFW. And I know you guys have been working on the Panthers, and I don't want you to tell everybody your secrets unless you want to. That'd be good ratings. Honestly.
That'd be great. Yeah.
But when you take a look at this Panthers team. What do you see?
You see a team that you don't wonder why they've been here every year. You don't. You look at it and you say, I get it. I get it. You see a team that there are no weaknesses. You see a team that's phenomenally talented, but they play incredibly hard, right? It's just a really good football team. And we were talking about and saying, how good they are and how impressive they are. And then you turn around and you say, you're in the 6A Division I playoffs with 4 teams left in Texas. the absolute mecca of where high school football is occurring, and there's 4 of you left at the highest of levels. That's exactly what it should be, right? You should be playing against the best high school football team in the nation, and they're certainly in that discussion, and have been year after year after year after year. Just the extreme level of consistency that they've had, it's really impressive.
Coach, I think one more question for you is, if you are to win that game, getting to AT&T Stadium, playing in the state championship, it's something every coach dreams about. What would it mean for you personally to be able to walk out of that tunnel next Saturday at 3 o'clock and be in the state championship game?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is just, how incredibly blessed I've been, and God is throughout my life has just taken care of me, and just, to be in a situation which I've never been in, but to be in that situation would just be just another level of something that I couldn't comprehend. But then immediately I fall back on, just how those kids that we talked about that went through so much turmoil and changes, how they stuck through it and got to that point. But then all the kids that I've coached in all those other stops and all those coaches that we never got to that point, and it would just be that, I wish every kid that I ever coached was down there if that happened, and I wish every coach I ever coached was down there. But it would just be, I would try to soak it in, and I would live that moment and those 3 hours of time for every one of those kids who put me in this position. I wouldn't be at Allen if it weren't for every one of them, and certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Allen kids and Allen coaches now. So it would just be a deep appreciation for a long career.
Well, you're you bring a crowd, including Vianney. Do you somebody behind you?
Yeah, I have someone over here.
Yeah. We'll go live.
Looks like
to
we
Vianney
got someone
Moreno.
on right next to me working the dials as well.
Okay,
There we
well,
go.
good. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
The whole crew showed up.
Let's go. Some
you're-
school spirit.
Yeah, you're hired.
Yes.
You're hired.
I might as well just let him take the
That's
chair.
fine. Yeah, exactly
go.
right.
There you go.
He's Coach Lee Wigington, head coach of the Allen Eagles. You can see them in action 3 o'clock Saturday at Mesquite Memorial Stadium. Coach, we so appreciate your time. I know it's a busy week. Thank you so much for making time for us. Congratulations again on all your success, and why don't we just plan on seeing each other in Arlington next week?
Oh, would love it. Thank
Right.
you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Thank
Lee
you. Good luck next
Wigington,
week.
head coach of the Allen Eagles, join us here at Dick's House of Sport here in off the Tollway in Dallas. Come and see us. We're here until about bye. There's fantastic. That is the first mascot we've had, Joe.
Yes, it's the first mascot.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
That
fairly
has
certain.
to be the first one.
Yeah, I think that's
so
great.
Bring your
so,
mascots
so
out.
the bar has been raised, everybody. For whenever you guys come out here to Dick's House of Sport, make sure you bring your mascot as well. And come out where we got coupons for anybody who shows up.
Yeah, get some Christmas shopping done.
Giving away Rising magazines. You can see Vianney Moreno. She's famous.
She is famous.
So make sure you come check that out. We've got big name guests, including one joining us right now. The head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, Coach Jason Todd, joins us after the break. Stay with us.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road. From up in Amarillo down to San Antone. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Back here at Dick's House of Sport here off the Tollway hard by the Galleria here in Dallas. Come out and see us. We're here until about 7 o'clock talking some ball with some of the biggest names in the state, including we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the 5A Division II state semifinalist South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, Coach Jason Todd, joining us. Coach, thanks. I know it's busy, so thanks for making some time, my man.
Hey, no problem. Anytime Matt calls, I answer.
Listen,
Oh,
that is true. Same thing with me.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, you too.
When he calls, I answer. All right, 5th straight state semifinal.
Yes.
5 straight state semifinals. You guys have obviously been wildly successful over the past half decade. For you, how much do you still appreciate the fact that you're able to do this? You know, the first one in 2021 was obviously special.
Yes.
Is it as special in 2025?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
because it's showing the consistency. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people can do things one time, but it's hard to continue to do it over and over without becoming complacent and kind of stepping over some things that actually got you there the first time. So it's a tremendous job by the coaching staff, and it's kind of a culture thing right now for the kids, the coaches, and the community.
You mentioned culture, and that's a buzzword that gets thrown out at coaching school, and I think for a lot of younger coaches, they made this like, oh, if I got dudes, I'm going to go out and win football games. And I think culture comes out in tight games, in those playoff moments when it's cold outside and things are going against you. For you guys building that culture, was there ever I think I may know, but you tell me, was there a moment where you were like, we've got this thing? Was there a moment that hit? You've won so many football games, but is there one you can point to that says we've turned this thing?
I think it was probably 3 moments that I could really think of. In 2018, when we lost to Aledo 28-14, we realized, number one, we wasn't that far off compared to the other guys we've seen them play against people. Nothing was that close, and we felt we kind of had some mistakes that gave them the game. The Duncanville game, that 21 season, we went down, but the kids showed some character and some fight, and we showed that we could be explosive on offense against a solid team like Duncanville, a great team like Duncanville. But it really didn't come into fruition until that fumble on that in that Aledo game in the third round, and that was the key point right there that just told us, hey, when we got over this hurdle, this is the biggest hurdle in our division, so we should be able to go on through the rest of the way.
That first Aledo game, correct me if I'm wrong, there was like a long rain delay too, right? Like you guys didn't start until late, right? It was a crazy weather night, right?
Yeah, it started in November and ended in December.
But you'll take it.
Yes.
All right. So I want to go back to the beginning of this year. You guys obviously, one of the things you can always count on is South Oak Cliff scheduling the most brutal non-district you can. If you could line up the Dallas Cowboys in non-district, you probably would.
Call Shoddy up and get him on the
Call
schedule.
Shoddy, get Shoddy up on the phone. So a 10-point win over Galena Park North Shore, 6A Division I, still alive.
Yes, still alive. Yes.
A 7-point loss to Duncanville.
Still playing.
Still playing 6A Division I. And a 3-point win over Longview.
Yes.
What did you learn about your guys? 3 weeks in, what did you learn about your guys through those 3 games?
I kind of learned the culture because actually going into the first game, we actually were down 3 starters on defense. So it was a lot of head scratching going on, wondering if guys were going to actually be able to step up to the plate and playing some big-time games so early. And once we saw those guys that had to step in roles, they was calm. We as coaches kind of calmed down and said, hey, the culture's here. We just need to play some football and let the chips fall where they may. And that's kind of what happened week after week. And we wish we would have started out a little better against Duncanville, but we allowed a good team to get up on us, and we weren't able to close that gap. But it still showed us some lessons that propelled us through the year.
Coach, you are known. I know a lot of your coaches on staff, and you were never known as a big 7-on-7 guy. You didn't. Y'all played a little bit, but didn't take it too seriously.
Yes.
When you evaluated after when you do your postseason evaluation after last year's state championship game, you guys decided to put more of an emphasis on it, and then you guys went out and played 7-on-7 and were really good at it. Now that you've had a time to there's some distance between that time. How much do you feel like that benefited you guys, and in what ways?
Number one, I think we were having a quarterback competition at the time, so it was allowing those guys to continue to get reps and continue to go against other people, and kind of just let the battle play itself out was the biggest thing. But it also allowed some of the younger guys to grow up, get some experience, going against some great teams at 7-on-7. And it kind of let us just keep working with the kids and build some continuity.
I want to ask you about last week, Port Neches Groves.
Yes.
You guys go down to Bryan and beat them 28-0. First time they've been shut out since 2008. And it's a remarkable performance, a remarkable win. I know that when these two teams get together, a lot of emotions.
Yes.
A lot of emotions. There's a lot of history between these two. What was your message to your guys heading into that game, knowing that emotion can be a great thing, but also it can cause you to get away from you? What was your message to your guys?
Probably the number one thing is that we can't ever win that state championship game that we lost a couple of years ago. That game's over and in the past. What it's about now is just instilling our dominance and showing that we actually gave one away to a very well-coached team. Because when I actually, do film evaluation, Coach Joseph and his defense is probably one of the best defenses that I'm talking about just preparation, schematic-wise, that probably we face versus anybody in the state of Texas. So we have a lot of respect, number one, for those guys, and we respect those linemen down there because they're big, and those guys play nasty and play through the whistle. And, we complain about it while the game's going on, but when you come back and sit in that coach's office, you actually, be like, woo, yeah, I like those guys, and you pat them on the back for that.
When you look ahead to this Melissa game, you guys have some history with Melissa, and you guys have played a couple of playoff games against them in the past. When you pull up Coach Nally's ball club on film, what are some things that stand out to you, and what kind of challenges do they present?
Going to be physical, number one. The 2 years that we did play them, it was a very physical game. Going to be a hard-nosed football game. It comes down to the teams going to make the least mistakes and the teams that actually execute big plays when they have the opportunity. I know that we have to keep the quarterback under control because we can't allow him to run through people like I've been seeing on film for 300 yards and different things like this. And we got to make him be a true quarterback and take away, some of the big plays. We got to win on the line of scrimmage is probably the most important thing.
It's Jason Todd, head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, joins us here at Dick's House of Sport here off the Tollway, hard by the Galleria in Dallas. Come down and see us. We're here till about 7 o'clock. I want to talk a little bit about your defense. That's where you guys hang your hat. It's always going to start with the death row defense.
Yes.
You guys have been banged up at times during the season, and you're getting healthy at the right time. We've seen great South Oak Cliff defenses. What about this South Oak Cliff defense? What is it about that defense that's maybe different?
Young guys had to play early, and we had to depend on some guys that we probably didn't expect to have to depend on early in the season. And those guys have gained experience, and then once we get the experienced guys back, now we have some depth, and now we can do some different rotational things like that. But the biggest thing is that it's just a culture at South Oak Cliff. Coach Ward, Coach Spencer, Coach CJ, Coach Traylor, Coach Carr coming over was a very big addition for us up front. Those guys have instilled what the attitude is to play defense at South Oak Cliff, and it's carrying on. And it doesn't matter what kid goes out there, it's the same expectation.
This game is being played. You're a Dallas guy.
Yes.
We're in Dallas right now. This game is being played at, and in my opinion, the most iconic Dallas football venue, the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl doesn't host a lot of high school football playoff games. Can you give us a little insight on how this game? Because I'm always fascinated by how playoff locations get set by coaches and some of the fun. And every coach has a great playoff negotiation story. How did this game come about getting scheduled at the Cotton Bowl?
Me and Coach were actually just kind of discussing different venues, and then I actually looked on Facebook, and somebody said, "Sock need to play at the Cotton Bowl." And so from that standpoint, I made a phone call to some people, and next thing I know, the ball was rolling, and the Cotton Bowl, they came through, the city of Dallas came through, and I just want the kids to experience that. It's the same place where they see Texas OU play, Grambling, PV, things like that. It's iconic, as you said. And it's also in my neighborhood where I grew up, so I'm down for I'm down for that bus ride going back to the South.
And I imagine it's going to be a large contingent of fans. That you're expecting a lot of black and gold to show up Friday night, right?
Yeah, I'm a lot of black and gold and just DISD faithfuls, that just support the district also and the city of Dallas. I will hope show those kids a good time and just kind of give them something to pair them to AT&T the following week.
You mentioned you're a Dallas guy, and from your perspective, what does it mean for you that, we've talked at times about, your history with South Oak Cliff. What's it meant for you that Dallas ISD has embraced this team and the entirety of the city of Dallas has kind of rallied behind South Oak Cliff?
It means a lot to me personally, and a lot to the coaches also, because a lot of those guys are Dallas guys also. And it's kind of like just kind of breaking barriers down what a lot of people say it couldn't be achieved. We've been able to do it not just once, we've been able to do it multiple times. And what we're trying to do is kind of keep this thing going, and also, we don't expect it to stop with just half a decade. We want this thing to be a decade. We're looking at our pace considered to other dynasties' pace, and we feel we're right on pace to be one of the best, as long as we keep doing what we're supposed to do.
You're a football junkie.
Yes.
I've called you. We'll just talk ball. We'll talk about different high schools and different games. You love football and college ball as well. I want to ask you about a couple of first off, I know you're a Texas Southern guy. You played at Texas Southern and Prairie View. No love lost between Texas Southern and Prairie View.
Yes.
How impressed have you been with Coach Tremaine Jackson and what he's done there at Prairie View?
He's backed his words up. How he came in talking. They're walking the walk too.
Yeah.
And he sung a song talking about getting to Atlanta, and looked like they boarding that bus and gonna be in Atlanta.
And then you got two Texas teams in the college football playoff. Obviously, beat Joey McGuire there at Cedar Hill. I know you've coached against him. Sock has played Cedar Hill.
That was actually my first game as a head coach was against Joey McGuire.
No
really?
way.
Yeah, that was my first loss.
Well, what kind of job do you expect? How impressed have you been with Texas Tech and then Mike Elko at A&M? Watching ball and seeing what they've done.
I like both of those coaches. I'm talking about as a person. Coach McGuire, he's doing the same thing he did at Cedar Hill. He just took it up to a bigger level, but he's just showing it's not a lot of difference between high school and college at the end of the day. And Elko, I like him because he's just a down-to-earth guy. He didn't come in with a big security squad, and all that type of stuff. He came in there, talked some football, and, he seems real personable. And I just like it. He's not all caught up in all the glitz and glamour.
Those defensive guys they just want to coach ball, right?
Yeah, they just want to get on the board and have some talk, some football, and live life.
There you go.
Absolutely. He's Jason Todd. He's the head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. You can see them 7 o'clock at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
That's awesome. They're playing a game at the Cotton Bowl.
As God intended that we're playing football at the Cotton Bowl. Coach, we appreciate your time. We know you're busy. We thank you for making time for us, and best of luck on Friday night. Let's plan on seeing each other in Arlington.
Yes, sir.
Sound good? Appreciate you. Jason Todd, head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, join us here at Dick's House of Sport here in hard by the Galleria in Dallas. So we appreciate everybody coming out here. Been a nice crowd, including an entire whole mascot coming out here.
Mascot come out, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. VNA stuck around for the entire time. We appreciate
The whole
that.
time.
The whole time.
The
You didn't
whole
get up
time.
once. Didn't get up once, and we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody for having us out here at Dick's House of Sport here in Dallas. Come on out. We're going to be out here until 7 o'clock, so make sure you come up and give Matt Stepp a surprise hug. He loves that kind of stuff. That is going to do it for us. A reminder that tomorrow, noon, Texas Football Today, your state semifinal preview, will be live at noon on these channels. And then Friday, Freeloader Friday.
That's right.
If you want to check out Tepp and Stepp, our big state semifinal preview, all 2 hours and 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, long show.
A long show. My predictions are up on TexasFootball.com as well. You've got your mega previews going up right now.
We got a lot. Got realignment, mock realignments up.
Mock realignments
yeah.
up. So make sure you go to TexasFootball.com. A lot of good stuff up there. That is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. Thanks to Dick's House of Sport for having us here out to their beautiful location, hard by the Galleria. Off of the Tollway in Dallas. Thanks to Jeff Rayburn, head coach of the Frisco Lone Star Rangers, to Lee Wigington, head coach of the Allen Eagles, and to Jason Todd, head coach of the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears, for being our guests. For VNA Moreno and Matt Stepp, I'm Greg Tepper. We'll see you tomorrow for Texas Football Today. Have a good one.